I'm trying a little bit. I made myself look a little bit nice. I did a little bit of lighting. It's the last chapter, after all. It's the end of an era. And you will forgive me if I get a little bit sappy and sentimental for the end of the scroll-free life. As previously mentioned, of course, it is not the end, because I'm not going back to smartphone use. But this portion of my life is coming to an end. I'm actually taking a trip down memory lane today, and I'm watching my old vlogs. So I just watched episode 1. So it was interesting to see how much I changed. I thought the issue would be learning how to navigate life without a smartphone. I had to use CDs and 10-year-old gadgets for listening to music. I had to plan way far in advance and print out instructions to get anywhere because I didn't have GPS. I've started using an atlas. And the world is so phone and technology centric now that it's everywhere. It's ubiquitous. I almost couldn't vote because they had tablets. You were supposed to sign in on an iPad, and I couldn't do it. So it was all these unforeseen minor hindrances that I did have to deal with. But ultimately, the problem was not the phone. The problem was me. I did not foresee that. I mean, I kind of did. Even at the beginning, I kind of did. It didn't fully sink in until much later that the phone exacerbated my issues. Yes, the phone allowed me to misbehave in public, in social situations. Yes, ignore people and take out the phone and text people or go on Twitter or Instagram or whatever while we're having a conversation or while we're at dinner. Yes, but can I blame the phone entirely for that? No. The problem was inside me. What I had to do over the course of the year was I had to go back to square one and I had to work on me as a person. I'd actually wanted to change for a long time. I knew I had problems and I knew I was unhappy and I wanted to not be unhappy. I wanted to be happy. I think we all do. But I wanted to change. I did, and I didn't know how. The hardest step to take is that first one, is saying, I am going to do this, and you just take a step, even if you're not ready. This contest was a catalyst for me. I was given a very tantalizing incentive to make this change and get rid of the phone, but it became a catalyst for me working on me and getting rid of my toxic traits. Now, hold that thought, because have I gotten rid of the toxic traits? Have I fixed myself? No, it's an ongoing process. Change is gradual, but change does not come accidentally. It comes through intention. You have to want it. I'm here, I'm doing this, and I don't have the phone to fall back on and rely on, so what is there left except that I have to start making changes. This is vlog number 2 now that I'm watching. I'm gonna go through all of them. In the vlog, I was talking about how I used to have these stress dreams. And the stress dreams would be, they're always the same. And I used to have them a lot at the beginning of the contest. Like the first 2 months, I would consistently have these stress dreams. The stress dreams would involve me slowly throughout the dream becoming aware that I have a smartphone in my hand and I've been using it. And then it tapered off because I got used to life without the smartphone. And it's funny that I'm watching this vlog and I'm hearing this because I remember now how bad it was. But I'm having these dreams again now that the end is in sight. I had like 3 nights in a row last week where I had stress dreams. And actually one of them was really fascinating. I was at a barn. It was like Halloween. It was like a barn Halloween festival. Denzel Washington was there. Right? So in the dream, I'm like trying to get at Denzel. And in the dream, I slowly become aware that I am using a smartphone to take pictures of him. And I'm like this far away now from Denzel, and suddenly I flip out and I'm like, oh my God, this is a smartphone. And he really thought I was a lunatic. So the dreams are back, but I think that's to be expected because as I've been saying the whole time, I am an anxious person and I have anxiety. And that's something that giving up the phone hasn't fixed, and it won't fix because it's an internal problem. Without the phone, I have obviously had to manage In my earliest vlogs, that was a goal I set for myself. I said I want to get better at being open about my feelings and managing my anxiety. Open about my feelings, that it's going to take longer than a year and more than lack of a smartphone to fix that. Haha! Have I gotten better at managing? Absolutely. And in fact, this may or may not be healthy. I tend to sacrifice my well-being, perhaps, for the sake of others. But it's okay. Because what I've been doing is, even when I'm anxious or uncomfortable in a situation, I have learned to power through it. Which is maybe not the most healthy coping mechanism, but I came to a realization, like, if I isolate myself every time I'm having a panic attack, I would never go out. I would never talk to anybody. And I would miss out on a lot of time with the people I care about. Do I need therapy? Absolutely. Am I going to get a therapist? No, because that thought of that gives me anxiety. But what I did some of my own cognitive behavioral therapy this year, and I really did. I had to work on myself, and I had to face my demons, and I am now making concerted efforts, even when I may not be comfortable, to remain engaged in the conversation, to be present with the people I'm with. I would rather be a little uncomfortable in my day-to-day life than look back on this time in my life 10 years down the road and say, wow, I really wish I'd engaged more with my parents. I really wish I'd spent more time with my friends. I really wish I had been strong enough in my life to focus on what matters and to not let anything, whatever that may be, whether it's mental illness or me being a jerk, whatever the issue du jour is, to not let that stand in my way of spending time with the people who matter, doing things that matter. Was that a complete sentence? I don't know. It was very fragmented. Hopefully in the editing room it all gets stitched together. But anyway, that's the realization I came to. What does work is me mentally saying, I am not going to let the anxiety stop me. I'm not going to let the depression stop me. Just watched a third vlog. I'm saying in this vlog, I turned to my writing again as a source of relaxation and entertainment. I remember a time, it wasn't that long ago, when I couldn't force myself to focus and write. And the phone was a big part of that, but it was a lot of other things. It was me, again, being unhappy with life. Did not having a phone fix any of that mentality? Maybe yes, maybe no. Arguably, actually, I would say yes. It forced me to go back to the basics so much and to change who I fundamentally am so much, or attempt to change. As I said, it's a process. It's honestly a battle every day. It's battling the darkest parts of who I am. I don't want to get too much into how screwed up I am as a person, but unfortunately I have to. I have to delve deep now because these experiences are inexorably intertwined. Giving up the phone and fixing who I am. I did it both at the same time, and I could not have had one without the other. Because what would the catalyst have been for me to try and make these changes and face myself as a person and face my problems as a person? A lot of it is changing your mindset. And I don't want people to assume that that means you can just tell yourself to not be depressed. You can just tell yourself to be happy. You can just tell yourself to believe in yourself, and you suddenly will not be depressed, and you will be happy, and you will believe in yourself. That is not how it works. I did go through depressive cycles this year, even without the phone. It's something that happens. On days when it's hard to get moving and hard to get out of bed, again, the first step is always the most difficult to take. But I didn't have the phone with me in bed to, lie in bed for 3 hours. I remember this in the smartphone era of my life, where I would lie in bed literally 3, 4, maybe 5 hours in the morning. It was a symptom of the depression. It wasn't causing the depression, but it exacerbated the depression. And the hardest thing you can do is force yourself to get up and take that first step. The interesting thing is, even in my bad cycles this year, I did notice that the effects of the depression were lessened. And that's because maybe I didn't have this enabling device that let me sink deeper into the depression and wallow in the depression and keep myself from moving forward. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a psychology major. I can't tell you, because I don't have a control experiment, I can't tell you if my unhappiness over the last decade came from my life experiences, or me getting the smartphone, or me getting older and my brain chemistry changing, or something else entirely. But I can tell you that in this 1-year experiment, I have become better. I have become happier. Is it because I gave up the phone, or is it because I worked on myself? I don't know, but I only worked on myself because I gave up the phone. So can I tell people if you give up your phone, you will be happier? I don't know, because everybody's different. And even people with depression, everybody's depression is different. Same thing with anxiety. All I can tell you is that I do think there is something to be said for the fact that everybody clings to this device. I think the way we use it makes us upset. So every 5 seconds, you'll be checking your phone and you'll be going on Facebook, you'll be going on Twitter, you'll be going on Instagram, you check your email, whatever. And we fixate on these curated fake social media presences. We worry about how many followers we have, or how many likes we get, or how many retweets we get. And what? Does it matter? Does it? I was one of those people who had to care about a social media presence because I'm an author. I am trying to make a name for myself. And sometimes a publisher will get your query and say, wow, this is a great query letter. This is a great synopsis. This is a great first 5 chapters. Let's see how many followers this person has on Twitter. Oh, only 2,000 followers? Bye-bye, rejected. That's the world we live in because so much importance is placed on social media. But guess what? I'm going to go off on a tangent right now because this actually, I feel great about this. I don't care. I don't care about Twitter. I don't care about Instagram. I don't even care about Facebook. I don't care how many followers I have because number one, being without the phone, detox from social media. Like, I'm still on it, obviously. I have to maintain my platform. I tried so hard for months with Instagram. Desktop Instagram is the worst. I won't even get into why I hate it so much because I could go on for hours. But I used to really care, especially when I was going on book tour road trips. I would Photoshop pictures in advance, and I would schedule their release dates, and I would email them to myself so I have the files on the road, and it was such a waste of time. Because who cares? I feel liberated. I can't tell you how happy I am not caring about Instagram. Instagram made me so upset. It really did, and I didn't notice it. I'm still on Twitter, and I do make an effort to post on Twitter daily. I used to spend 8 hours a day on Twitter. This was right before the contest started, and I was making a big push to increase my visibility on the Twitter platform as an author. And I would just be on the phone constantly throughout the day, liking, retweeting, interacting with other people, trying to get those follow backs. And it made me miserable. It really did. It's a waste of my time. For some people it works. For some people it's important. But I would also caution those people, how important is it really? And what are you sacrificing to get those Twitter followers? Are you sacrificing your peace of mind? Are you sacrificing hours a day that you could spend doing something else, arguably more productive? I mean, for some people, this is being productive. Growing an online following is not easy. It's a full-time job. That's why companies employ media manager positions now and pay them for, five figures a year, maybe more. Still not good at math. That hasn't changed. It'll never change. Some things never change. I digress. Some people are good at it. For some people, it might even be fulfilling on some level. I don't know. Everybody's different. If it floats your boat, go for it. And we've seen how social media platforms can be powerful. If you want to make change in the world, a social media platform can suddenly connect you with people worldwide who you would never have otherwise reached. So it can be a powerful tool, absolutely. And I've been saying this all along too. Social media, the phone, the technology, it's all very powerful. But we also abuse it. We misuse it. We go too far. Life has been so much better and so much happier not caring about Instagram. Watch vlog number 4 now. So in that one, I was showing you guys the notebook I was using because I used to use my phone to just write notes. Now I've been forced to use a notebook over the past year. Look at the difference. Look at... Can you see how beat up this is? This really went through the ringer. Oh, gross. We filled it up with some good Good stuff. I got a lot of handwritten instructions here on how to get from point A to point B. A lot of book notes, book 3 notes, audiobook notes. Ooh, we're gonna get to that. Vlog number 6, classic, that I recorded the worst day of 2019. That was when I had to stay in the Ebola Lodge, and I had this like clump of matted human hair on my bed, and I got a ticket. However, this is a nice segue into my next point, which is one of the biggest, I think, accomplishments for me this year was this vlog. I have in the past attempted to make vlogs and to post them consistently, but I failed every time. It was me giving up, I guess. Yeah, okay, let's admit it. Let's call it for what it is. It was me giving up because I wasn't getting the engagement I wanted, or because it was too much mentally for me to take on at the time, and I was trying to do too much. This used to be a huge time commitment when I was doing like sit-down vlog interviews, and you notice how it changed over the year is I just stopped caring, and I just took the B-roll and smushed it all together, and that was that. I called it a day, and I was able to get the content out. Could it have been done better? Could it have been done more artfully, more stylistically, more filmically? Absolutely, on all points. Do I care? No, because the purpose was not to be artistic, stylistic, or filmic. It was to add this level of transparency to the contest and to give people a window into my life, and it also, interestingly, for me personally, it became something else as well. The purpose originally was just to get the content out there. And once I calmed down and realized that that's the only purpose and it doesn't actually matter if the audio is stellar or not, it was so much easier for me mentally to take on the task. But for me, it also became a record of my time. It's really nice to see this window into the past and a visual history of where I've been and how far I've come. I started out really hating the vlog because as a filmmaker, I was burnt out. This kind of, I won't say rekindled the spark. That's a strong thing to say. But this was, and I won't say fun either because fun is also a very strong word. But you know what? Actually, there were moments of fun. And I don't have the smartphone anymore to just snap a picture and take a visual record of something cool I saw or somewhere cool I went. This was a nice substitute. Do I enjoy making the vlog? Enjoy is also a strong word, but I am undeniably glad that I have done it and that I have continued to do it, that I stuck with it. That's huge. It's a big accomplishment. It's a big change. I have become fond of the vlog in a way. And by the way, tangent, thank you to the 5 people who watched this vlog. All 5 of you, maybe 6 on a good day. I'm glad that it was interesting to you, that you watched it, that you felt like you wanted to watch it week to week. I don't know, maybe you didn't, maybe you're doing it just to be nice. But even if that's the case, thank you for being nice to me. But I think, this is something I learned. This is an important thing I learned, right? This is the difference. This is why I succeeded with this vlog, and in the past, I failed with vlogs. Or whatever project I was doing. I failed a lot of projects over the past decade. And the reason is I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I had a vlog called How to Stop Sucking at Life. Oh, what a joke, as if I know. And it was, it was intended to be funny, and it was intended to be the kind of thing that I put on YouTube and I become a YouTube star. And I would get 400 to 600 views per episode, and that was it. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna be a YouTube star this way, meh. And I just gave up on it. Granted, that was a time in my life when there were a lot of really, really, really bad other external factors that were weighing on me. So that project was doomed from the get-go. But I just could never be consistent about it. And I think it's because I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I was doing it because I was like, I want to go viral immediately. This I did for myself, ultimately. I did it, for the contest. I did it to be accountable. But I really wasn't doing it for an audience. I was doing it so the record is there. I was doing it so people can watch all 52 of these episodes and say, wow, this girl really went a year without her smartphone, and this is everything she did. And this is how she coped without it. And this is how she She learned to manage without having that one little device. She had to do this, 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 this. I did it for a few reasons, but mainly for myself. And it became more and more for myself as time went on. And so, in that regard, I did it for the right reasons. And also, because I did it for me, I am considering, and I am not holding myself to this because it really still is a labor to film and to edit and to upload. So it is a time commitment, but I am considering continuing to vlog from week to week and just make a note of what I'm doing with my life and where I am in life and what my goals are for the next week and what my project is for the next week, so I can see where I have been and I can measure how far I went to get to where I'm going, if that makes sense. Oh man, vlogs number 789. I remember this time in my life because that was when I literally stalked Barnes & Noble and I was like, hey, let me do an event at your store. Ultimately, not a lot of people cared, but it was a vast accomplishment because I, an unknown entity, got to launch my book at the world's largest bookstore. Barnes & Noble, a national franchise. That's an accomplishment. Would I have done it if I still had the smartphone? Probably, I had to try. Was I stronger? Did I go after it more consistently, more vigorously because of my experiences without the smartphone? I think yes. In the past, I might have given up more easily, or I might have been too awkward or anxious or what have you to really pursue it, because I really did. I had to pursue it. It wasn't a simple thing. It wasn't an easy thing, but I did it. The point of all this is I am proud of myself for having done that. 2018 Ilana, I don't think would have had the gumption to do what 2019 Ilana did. That was an act of, I would posit, courage. This is a changed mindset, I spent like a really long time being mean to myself, not being nice to myself, dwelling on the failures and not acknowledging the successes. This is cognitive behavioral therapy as I understand it. Again, I'm not a psychologist, I don't have a PhD, so don't quote me. But it's this act of going back to the very basics of your mindset and doing something every day to change that mindset. If you force yourself outside of your comfort zone, and if you force yourself to do something enough, it stops being an inconvenience, and at some point it becomes a habit. You can, in fact, retrain yourself to be braver. I have never suffered from a lack of bravery necessarily, but I have suffered from a lack of persistence, a lack of self-esteem, and I have allowed things to get in my way and to stop me from going that extra mile. I don't settle for that anymore. I don't do that anymore. Good for me. Proud of myself. Pat on the back. Vlog number 10. I loved that week. That was a nice week. Look at those iguanas. I spew some real dragon iguana knowledge in that vlog. You should watch that vlog. It's a sick vlog. No comments. Just happy that I have this record of things. Yo, vlog number 11. It's the first time I really traveled by myself. Nope, that's not true. But it's the first time I did it without a smartphone. That's not true either. But it's the first time I treated it like what it was, which is an adventure. Even though I was, anxious a lot of the time because, wow, this SeaTac issue was really, that's actually one of the moments where I feared for my personal safety. I was like, am I gonna have to sleep in the SeaTac airport parking lot? Am I actually ever gonna reach my destination? But it was an adventure. And I was doing it alone, and I was doing it disconnected in places I'd never been before. It felt like an accomplishment. It really did. This actually reminds me of something else I wanted to say to people who probably, honestly, don't watch this vlog, but who have been present in my life over the past year nonetheless. And to those people, I actually want to say thank you. The people who opened up their homes to me as I traveled across the country on book tour, and the people who I met for the first time ever and connected with in real life. I saw people, I reconnected with people I haven't seen in years. Really, truly, genuinely. Thank you all. Vlog 17. Okay, this actually, we saw the worst day of 2019. This actually might very well contain a record of the best day of 2019. And it's a little random. It is like super random why I consider that day the best day, but I'm gonna tell you this story. I was staying at an Airbnb on a farm, and I did have my laptop with me. That was when I cared about Instagram, so I intended to do some Instagram uploading and social media, keep up. I also kind of wanted to email my parents and let them know I was alive, and it's not important. And I was the next day going to drive from El Dorado, Kansas to Laramie, Wyoming. It's 690 miles the next day. And I'd planned to get in touch with people, and it turns out that this place didn't have internet. So I was really cranky for a minute. It was 5 p.m. I got there, maybe 6. I have hours ahead of me filled with nothing. And I was so cranky. But then my host invited me out, and I was kind of in this bad mindset. I had been doing a lot of traveling. I had had an event earlier that day, and I was exhausted. And so I wasn't really in a mood to socialize. I really wasn't, especially not with strangers. But I did it because what else? I didn't have anything else to do. There's literally nothing else for me to do. So I left the comfort and solitude of my darkened room, and I went and I saw the horses, and there was a bunch of cats, and I saw these kittens, and I got to hold a kitten, and then, true Midwest hospitality, my host and the other guest who was staying there at the time, first she gave us some alcohol, and it was so sugary. And that's what I like. I don't like alcohol that tastes like alcohol. I like alcohol that goes down easy and it tastes like a milkshake or like a sugar drink. And that's what this was. And she took us out in her real rugged Jeep, and we are just trundling along the back roads of Kansas. And, and I can still see it. I didn't even bring the camera with me because I didn't know this would happen. It was one event led to another. I left the room, and then I spent time with her, and then I got happy, and I was seeing the animals, and that put me in a much better mood. And then I met this other person, and then I had some alcohol, and I was in a much better mood. And then, and I didn't have the camera with me, and I was there living in the moment with people who I didn't know, but we got along. Maybe that's the alcohol, I don't know. But, and I can still see it, the cornfields and this golden sunset, and we're just trundling along these roads, and she's given us a tour, and we went to see this old barn, and then we drove through a river. The river was overflowing, and just drove through it, and then we went to a restaurant. We had a little bit more alcohol, and we had food, we had dinner. So it's so weird that I fixate on this one moment, but actually it does stand out in my mind as one of the greatest moments of the last year, because I stepped so far outside of my comfort zone, and I just had such a great evening. I would never have agreed to it if I'd had my phone. I would have locked myself in the room, 6 p.m., stayed on the phone, and used up all my data. I would never have had this day, this experience with the phone. I can guarantee you that because I know who I was as a person. And this moment, I think it's a cliche to say this, and I don't want to sound too sappy, but I will go ahead and say it. It was a magical moment. Would never have happened had I had this smartphone. This is vlog 18. This kind of just illustrates another accomplishment, which is I had to plan ahead, and that's something I'm not good at. I wing it. I don't have a plan. I wanted to write a script for this final episode. I wanted to plan it out. I just didn't. Because it really, a lot of the time, if I plan something too much, it feels disingenuous. But I was forced by necessity to plan and to plot out all, my road trips. And this, I had to super plan ahead how I was gonna upload my vlog. My laptop is trash. There's no nice way to say it. It's garbage. I got it for $130 on Black Friday sale 5 years ago. So it can't do anything. I can't put footage on there. It has literally 20 gigs of storage on its entire hard drive. Okay, and one take here is 20 gigs. So I had to borrow computers from the university through the course and install Premiere and put my footage on, edit it, export it, store the export on a USB, delete Premiere, delete all my footage from the computers, return the computers, and then upload. And I did it, man. It's not groundbreaking whatsoever. You know, it's just planning ahead. But for me, kind of groundbreaking. And it's another pat on the back moment. 19, the ALA conference. I loved this. I want to go back next year, but it's in Chicago instead of Maryland. So, oh, that's this year. This is 2020. I want to go back this year, but I don't know if it's feasible because life is changing. So I don't know if my path will lead me back to the ALA. But you know what? Some really interesting things came out of this moment, and it was an experience that I will never forget and never regret. Vlog 20, this is the moment I finished the edit on book 3 and sent it out to beta readers, which was a new experience for me. This is really the first year I reached out to strangers, people who don't know me, people who are not familiar with my writing, people who are not even familiar with the first 2 books in the series, and asked for impartial, objective, third-party feedback on Dragon Blood, Book 3 of the Shadow War Saga. This was really the beginning of a new era for me of being brave and breaking through boundaries and going outside my own comfort zone and soliciting feedback from people and listening to what they say and making changes accordingly. That's not an easy thing to do, but it's a necessary thing to do. It's necessary for the process. I consider myself now very lucky because I've actually cultivated a group of people who, again, we don't know each other in real life. I met them through beta reader Facebook groups or from Twitter. Okay, so social media has some uses. I never said it didn't. I just said it's taking over our lives and I am happier not giving a shit about social media. These are people who, you know, they don't know me, they don't owe me anything. They are not going to lie and tell me something is good. And now I've cultivated like a group of people who enjoy my writing, who like my writing, who have given me really stellar feedback. Another thank you is in order to my beta readers. Getting this feedback, I think it has made, I know it has made me a better, stronger writer. I know that. And it's good to know. Vlog 25, Playing in the Rain. This was actually this was like maybe moment number 2, top moment number 2 for me of 2019, because it was a bad day at work. And I biked to work. And during the course of the day, the weather has changed from sunny to thunderstorm. And I get home and I'm drenched, I'm soaked, you know, like it's ruined. Life is ruined. Then I was just like, well, I'm soaked already. Let me like go to the park and turn the slide into a water slide, because I used to do that a lot when I was a kid. And even when I was not really a kid, but it was a different life. It was a life when I was more carefree and more happy and less encumbered by time constraints, depression, societal expectations, who knows, take your pick, all of the above. And I had a blast, you can see. It was a battle to actually get out and do this. It was really like a mental, I didn't want to do it. But ultimately I did turn it into a good experience. And I think that's a metaphor for whatever I learned this year, which is you can make positive improvements and you can make changes in yourself through consistent, patterned, intentional thinking. And it's a battle, it's a struggle. It's a daily struggle. I think our struggles are mitigated a lot of the time. Oh, this got so deep. But it's important because I was guilty of this too. I was like, if I just changed my mindset, maybe I would be better. I really did change my mindset, but it is not easy and it is not a switch. It's a process. It took me a year to get to where I am now, and that's like, I feel like I climbed a mountain and then like the camera zooms out and you realize it's the first step on a staircase. And I'm not where I want to be yet, but I am getting there. This was a teaching moment, I think, for me, is mind over matter. You can do it, but it's difficult. And you need to really want to do it. And you need an impetus. And whether that's going a year without your smartphone for a challenge or having an actual therapist and a support system to help you change and to help you get where you want to be, you need that foundation to be able to take that first step and climb that first mountain and go up that staircase. This was so deep. I was literally just going down a water slide, but I turned it into something really deep. Oh, vlog 28. This is actually a reminder of people who were kind to me me meeting new people, networking with new people. I cultivated relationships, and I had a friend come to this event who I had never met in real life before. He came out to support us. I loved dragons. Now we're in Maine. We see the beginning of the end of my sanity for the audiobook. This is when the work on the audiobook really began. Learned a lot of hard lessons. It is another thing I am very glad to have done. I did it all myself. Wouldn't recommend. Oh, but wait a minute. Actually, I was thinking about rewatching this the other day because a lot of favorite memories here. I love Maine, obviously, but this is the frog catching. Classic moment in 3, 2, there it is. He got right on my lens. This poor camera, man. This camera had been through the mill this year. Very fond memories. And the audiobook, so many mistakes were made. But like I said, it is an experience I am glad to have had, and it is an accomplishment I am glad to have accomplished. It's monumental, actually. Not everybody can say they made an audiobook single-handedly, start to finish from scratch. I created this really whack setup. I did the recording. I did the editing. I did the exporting. Now it's with beta listeners. Vlog 31, and I talked about all the books I read. I started reading again this year, and that made me happy. And I think final tally is at or close to 40 books this past year, which may not seem like a lot, but when you consider how much traveling I did, and the fact that I edited a 550-page book of my own, and I wrote a 110,000-word new manuscript of my own, and I recorded a 130,000-word audiobook of my own, and then I had to edit 24 hours of recording of that audiobook, which translates, by the way, to about 300 hours of editing. When you take all of that into account, that's a lot of books. If you count me reading books that I wrote and like multiple times reading them, okay? It's closer to like 60 books because I had to read this and edit it many times. This is actually another favorite moment. This is like the audiobook is done. What am I doing? Oh, I'm doing laundry. I'm throwing clothes in the lake. That's my laundry. But the audiobook got finished and I was able to start relaxing and to reconnect with some old friends. And we got to do some more frog hunting. So in my top moments of 2019, actually, I do think this moment right here, is it number 2 or is it number 3? Just being with people and having fun. Frog hunting. I love frogs. In case it wasn't clear, I love frogs. I love doing things like that, and I don't get the opportunity to do things like that anymore because I'm an adult. Sometimes life doesn't permit us to do that kind of stuff. We all have schedules and deadlines, and we're all so wrapped up in the day-to-day minutia. We don't often take time to... I will lower myself into a cliche again. We don't often take time to smell the roses, right? And this is me smelling the roses. This is me just like hanging out, having fun for the sake of having fun, catching those frogs. I actually don't think I caught any frogs this day. Maybe I did. Maybe I caught one. But what I did catch was leeches. Got a lot of leeches standing in there. Yo, I had a dream about the leeches the other night. This was one of my smartphone dreams. I had a dream, stress dream. The smartphone, I'm like holding a smartphone and there are leeches all over me. For the record, I don't have a problem with leeches, and this video proves it. I'm not like freaking out or killing the leeches. I'm fine with all these leeches squirming all over my toes. I remember the phone parts of the dream because those are like super stressful, but then there was this weird leech component to the dream. Okay, on that note, obviously I've never slept well. I have always had sleep problems, and I've always had like anxiety, which hinders my sleep. But I will say this, my sleep habits have improved drastically. That is not to say they are cured or they are even good. I wouldn't even really say that they're good. But late bedtime for me, 2 a.m. Which this sounds pretty bad. This sounds pretty incriminating when I say it out loud. However, bear in mind that I used to go to bed at midnight and then spend 4 hours, and I'm not kidding, late bedtime, For me, in the past, with the phone, it would be like 4:45 a.m. And this number sticks in my head because I remember it happening on multiple occasions, 4+ a.m. And whether that was because I was playing War Dragons or because I was having like a panic attack and I was just trying to settle myself scrolling, the gadget allowed me to just never sleep. And the lack of sleep honestly hurts you the most. So have my sleeping habits been magically fixed? No. Have they improved? Absolutely. So it's been 8 months, sans smartphone at this point, and you can see how I have become more comfortable in driving without GPS, driving without even directions, making things up as I go. It's a small thing, ultimately, in the grand scheme of things. It is a very small thing, but it feels empowering to be able to navigate and find my way. We had World Dragon Day, and now we're getting into the Halloween portion of the vlog. These are fond memories, too. I had a lot of fond memories. It still seems a little weird to me that I have so many fond memories of the past 360 whatever days. Because, you know, for a long time, life wasn't happy and I wasn't doing things. But these are fond memories. Ha! Look at that. What a lunatic I am. Here we're in November now, and November marked a fantastic milestone for me because I participated in National Novel Writing Month, and the idea of this contest is to write a novel in a month. 50,000 words is their definition. I wrote 110,000 words. My intention was not to just hit a writing goal, but to start and finish a book, a new book. And it was new. I mean, I set it in the same universe as Elentria because, like, I made up an entire universe. I'm not going to just throw it away. I believe in the beauty of that universe. You know, I think it's sick. That's why I keep writing, is because I love it. But it was a new cast of characters. And it was a brand new story. It was a story that I worked on, like, a little bit in October. Like, I kind of came up with something. But I'm really not a plotter. Even when I plotted salient points, I just went way off the rails. But I did it. That is a new experience for me, is writing something new, writing something linear, because I tend to hop around in my writing. I know, it's bad, but I do it. And my best day of writing actually was when we got to the denouement of the story. I had set out to do a chapter a day, but I was like, now that we're in the thick of things and they're at this final battle and it's like this climactic scene, I was like, well, sick. Like, I have to keep writing because I want to know what happens next. I was so invested in it that I kept writing, and I wrote, it was like upwards of 10,000 words I wrote in that day. I remember days where it was difficult to write. Those will always come. That's the rule rather than the exception. But I also remember days like that where it was like fun and exciting to write. Writing this new thing, start to finish, and having a good end product, that was a big accomplishment. I feel confident in saying I have achieved a lot this past year. I probably consider this to be the biggest achievement. After this, we're getting into the audiobook editing era, and I don't want to relive that. It really drove me insane doing the thing, but while we're talking about accomplishments, this was a big accomplishment. This is a nice segue into my final thoughts. I think the bottom line here is this. I probably should have written a script for this. Am I a writer? But I didn't want to. I was lazy. Aha! That's the point. Therein lies the point. I went into the contest thinking it was going to be about one thing, which is, you know, learning to navigate life without a phone. For me, it turned into something else entirely. I had to work on myself. I had to change myself. I wasn't in a good spot. I wasn't happy in life. When I heard the news, when I received the email and they said, you are the chosen one, I thought to myself, and I said it out loud, this is going to change my life. In that moment, I was just thinking about the money, honestly. I was like, wow, you know, like this will save me. Because it's true, I don't make a lot of money. But, and I hate that this is the lesson I learned, kind of, because it's like the lesson you see in Hallmark movies. There are more important things in this life than the things we have become as a society so fixated on. There are more important things than money. There are more important things than your Twitter follower count. Being without the phone did not necessarily teach me how to manage my time, although arguably I did manage my time pretty well because I accomplished a lot of shit. It didn't so much teach me how to manage my time, it taught me to value my time. You can learn to value your time more. And what that means is spend time doing the things that make you happy, doing the things that you love, being with the people you love. Don't waste your time on shallow interactions. I value my time, and now I care less about what people think. I care less about doing things out of decorum or perhaps because I should, and I care more about doing things for me or for the people who matter to me. I now truly understand the value of a day, of every day. Oh no, I think I'm getting emotional. I didn't think I would be this person. I didn't think I would become this person. I didn't think I could be this person. Because to me, this is a good person. This is someone who now values family over social media and who values friendship over meaningless, shallow interactions, true friendship and connecting with and staying connected to the people who really matter, the people who have proved to me that they want me in their life. I want to be in those people's lives. And the rest of the people, I don't care. Maybe that sounds mean, but you can't care about everybody's opinion. And if you try to please everybody and to care about everybody, you're going to drive yourself insane. You cannot please everybody. So I'll focus on the important people. I will value my time with those people because I lost people this year. And the time I did or didn't spend with them, the communication I did or didn't have with them, those are moments I can never get back. What I don't want, most of all, is to be 10 years in the future and to look back on this moment and to say, I wasted my time. I am emotional because I really didn't think I could change. And I was living in such a dark place for so long because I didn't believe I could change. And I think a lot of people struggle with the same things I struggle with. But what I would like to tell you is that you can change. And you don't need a contest to change. You don't need to give up your smartphone to change. You just need to want to change. That's the first step, and the first step is the hardest. But it can be done, and I am living proof of that. And I really didn't think that I would be this person, and that I would ever be in a place mentally in my life where I would be proud of the things I've done, and I would be proud of who I've become. Because for a long time I really wasn't, and I was in a very bad place. And I'm still struggling to get out of that place. But I've taken the first step to getting out of that place. And I think that's the important takeaway here, is that I have learned to value my time. Oh my God, this is the lesson. I've discovered the lesson. How poetic that it is this moment, the last final vlog, that I discover the true lesson. Because I knew, for a long time I knew that I was learning to value my time. But in valuing my time, I have learned to more greatly value myself. And I really hated myself for a long time. I hated who I'd become. So the liberation here is not that I freed myself from the phone. The liberation is I became kinder to myself. And I realized how privileged and how lucky I am. And I hope that maybe someone somewhere can see this story of somebody who wanted to change and who did change, and maybe they can change too. To have been given the gifts I was given and the opportunities I was given and the chance to do this for myself. And maybe this is gonna sound crazy, but I am a crazy person quantifiably, so that's pretty on brand. What are the odds of that? The odds of that are astronomical. The odds of that are like nothing. This was, and forever will be, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and a truly ultimately life-changing experience. I am a quantifiably, unarguably better writer for the things I've done this year. I am, I hope, a better friend, a better daughter, a better cousin, a better niece. And I am, or will be one day, a better person. And every day you try to be a little bit better person. So every day is going to be a struggle, for sure. And I've been struggling, but I feel like a weight has been lifted from my shoulders now. You know, like I had this revelation and I caught it on camera. Oh my God. And it's as sappy as can be. It's all such a cliche. But you know, I guess cliches exist for a reason. The stories we tell, the stories we love, the stories we cling to, they all have this stupid message at their core, which is love yourself and value the people around you. And there are more important things than money. And time is your most precious commodity. And if you, whoever's watching this, God only knows how long this is going to be when it's finally cut, because I feel like this is the end and I'm going to leave it all in, even the crying bits. Ugh. If you watching this feel like you are wasting your time, I would tell you there are many changes you could make, and only you know which changes are going to work for you best as an individual. But cutting back on the phone, giving up your phone, being more present and focusing on deep interactions rather than the shallow ones that the phone is so conducive to, I think that's a good start. If you give up your phone, I don't think you're going to regret that. But if you don't, and my greatest fear is and was looking back and regretting the time wasted now, when I have health and youth and people I love around me. I really don't even recognize myself. I was really like isolated and angry for a long time. So it's weird to hear me saying these words and it's weird to believe them. It's strange to change. And I think a lot of people are afraid of change. But things need to change now in our world. I believe that. And I believe that if I can change myself, I can change anything. If I can save myself, maybe I can go out and save the world. I guess that's it. By the time this is posted, tomorrow will be February 15th, 2020. And at 7 a.m. on February 15th, 2020, that is the conclusion of the year. And it has been a very wild ride. And I changed in more ways than I thought I did. And sometimes it doesn't even feel like I changed. But the fact that I'm here now and I'm espousing these ideals of beauty and value and love, I think that is all the proof I need that I did change. And that I can continue to change. And that I have the agency and the power to direct the narration of my story and make more changes that I want to see, not only in myself, but in the world. I don't know if there will be a next episode. I can't make any promises, but I'm excited to see what the next chapter will bring. It is definitely the end of an era, but it is not the end of my story. So until next time, if there is a next time, thank you, audience, for sticking with me. And I hope these words have resonated with you on some level, maybe. And as always, stay off those phones. Upon reflection, I feel like that got very intense. So I'm going to end this on a high note, a funny note. So you guys remember, whoever had this number prior to me was definitely part of some kind of mafia. I saved it. I didn't write back to this guy. He writes to me on September 9th, 2019. He says, "Hi, this is Igor. I sold a Maserati to a dealer in New York and you bought it. You still have it? Question mark. I want to buy it back. Lol. Let me know! Exclamation mark." I kind of wanted to troll him, but it takes so long to type out messages on this keypad. I didn't do it. So I just kept it. I hope Igor got his Maserati back.